UFC Fight Island 6. Fight Island 6. Zombie versus Ortega. The fight that we've been waiting for over a year now. COVID and then the injuries and then the travel restrictions limited this fight. So now we got it. We got it here Saturday. Obviously, hopefully nothing happens. No positive tests or anything. But they're in the bubble over there on Fight Island, so everything should be good. A pretty decent card all around. Not the best from a betting standpoint, at least from a best bet standpoint. I don't have a best bet here for this weekend, but we always find some plays that we like, and we usually do hit on them, right? So last week we did go 2-0 for subscribers. We're on a 10-3 run, 10-3 run right now. Best bets stay the same here, 72%. Units continue to go up though, guys. Units continue to go up. We're at 42.9 units on a max 1 unit bet. So we're at 42.9. I told you we're going to get up to that 50 shortly, and hopefully we do here by maybe the end of the month, if not into November. Any more information that you guys want on the subscription service, check out my website, systemsportscapping.com. All information is available there. Like I said, I don't just cap UFC, I cap all sports. You can see my records and percentages all on my website. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. Main event, we are talking the main event. It's a 5-rounder, of course. Zombie minus 188 versus Ortega. We haven't seen either of these guys for a while, right? Last time we seen Ortega was almost 2 years ago. And Zombie, a little over a year now, or almost a year. Last time we seen him was in December against Edgar. Let's take a look at the measurements here. We have it up here. Measurements, as you can see, no huge difference. So I'm not going to factor that in too much. The only thing that you can see is a big difference is the takedown accuracy, with Zombie at 41% versus Ortega just at 16%. It's not that important because both these guys don't lean on takedowns, right? They aren't looking for takedowns, so that 41% is very limited, I'm sure. They look to strike. Both these guys should be looking to strike. But yeah, Ortega, I don't see him. I think he does have the advantage on the ground, of course, but I don't see him getting it there, right? So that's the thing here, and that 16% does show it. So that's the only thing I look here and factor into the to the numbers that you see on the screen here. Let's take a look at their last fights. Last fight's obviously Ortega versus Max Holloway. We know what happened there. Max beat him up pretty bad, guys. Messed up his face. Had to take a lot of time off. And the doctors stopped the fight. Tough. He showed how tough he was, Ortega. He wouldn't go down. He wouldn't quit. He had to get the doctor. The only way that fight was going to stop was the doctor stopping the fight. Right? And now you think, how different will he be after that beating? It's a bad beating that he took. How is it going to play in, right? Korean Zombie last fight, 2019 versus Edgar. I think it was in December, where he finished him in round 1. Very impressive. And it's tough to finish Frankie. Yes, Frankie's older, but it's tough to finish the guy. So you have to give Zombie a lot of credit there. Zombie is going to be the better striker here, right? Now, Ortega said he's been working on his striking a lot over the past 2 years that he's been off. So that's something to look at. It is a little unknown, right? How is he going to come out? But yes, overall, Zombie is the better striker. And I think this fight will stay on his feet, right? For the most part, I think the fight will stay on its feet. Ortega is going to want to show that he can strike with him. Last fight that we seen Ortega decided to stand, you see what happened against Max. He got picked apart. Max landed 300 times, around 300 times. And, the doctors had to stop it because of his banged up face. This price, though, 188, it's tough, guys. 188. I couldn't lay it, and it is a tough call on the outcome here. Decision or knockout. Very tough. It could go 5 because durability on both guys. Very high durability. They both can last. Like I said, Ortega, I think the only way he gets knocked out, maybe another stoppage, cut, something like that. But Zombie showed his knockout power, right? This 2.0 Zombie. So it's tough to call an outcome here. This could go all 5. Both guys have showed gas tanks as well and are tough. Ortega doesn't drop. He doesn't get knocked out. He hasn't been knocked out. Just that Docker stoppage. But Zombie's going to look for that knockout, right? How will Ortega look after this layoff? That's the question. He says he has new training. He improved on his striking. He has some new training partners. So if you're looking at a side standpoint, I won't be on a side standpoint. Value here is with Ortega. However, I do think the 2.0 version of Zombie pulls it off. I haven't made a bet as of yet. If you guys want to bet the fight, I would look at Zombie minus 188. I don't suggest to lay minus 188, but 2-fight parlay. Zombie just to win the fight straight up. If you don't mind the juice, go for it. It's not something that I'll be involved in. Very excited to watch it. I know all the round bettings hasn't come out as yet. I would lean over on the rounds, like 3.5. Don't know the price as of yet. I haven't looked at it, to be honest, but I would lean over on rounds. So if you look at the rounds there, see what the best does suit for your liking. Zombie pulls it off, though. I think I am leaning his way. Co-main Andrade, minus 145, minus 150 versus Chookagian. I think this is a fun fight, guys. I tried to lay off these women's fights, to be honest. We did hit the last time with Luka Buma in that parlay. Yeah, let's just go over this here. Andrade needs a win after back-to-back losses versus probably the best 2 ladies in the world, right? Rose and Zhang. So her resume speaks for itself. She's losing these fights, but this is against top competition. Chookagian is no slouch. She's right up there with them. She will need to bring Chookagian down and grapple. Outpower her, put the pressure on her to win this fight. That's how she's going to win this fight, guys. She's going to out-grapple, use her wrestling and her power and continuous pressure. She won't want to stand and try to make this a kickboxing fight, as Chookagian excels in that. Chookagian looks to use her length and technique to win fights, right? Let's take a look at it here. 8-inch height advantage, 6-inch reach advantage, and Chookagian will be the heavier girl on fight day, right? Chookagian's also, she's only 5'1", Andrade. She's going to have to get this to the ground and not try to strike. Andrade, is she smart? I'm sure that's the game plan. Come on, it has to be the game plan for Andrade. Grapple, wrestle, make it ugly, right? You're not going to stand and beat Chookagian in a kickboxing match and get to a decision, right? She's going to pick you apart, use that length. That's what she excels in. So take her down. She's been taken down in a lot of her fights fairly easily, right? So take her down, make it an ugly fight. And that's why, I lean Andrade here. This fight should be a battle of can Andrade get to this ground versus Chookagian keeping it on the feet and striking, right? Andrade's striking looked pretty good versus Rose, though. However, not sure if it's different versus Chookagian and that length. So, and Chookagian will be faster on the feet, right? Now, can Chookagian stop the takedowns is going to be the big question in this fight. Just one of those fights, right? A striker versus someone that wants to take you down and dominate there. Value, obviously, with Caitlin. If you're on Caitlin and you think Caitlin's going to win this fight, you take her by decision. That's the only way I personally think she's going to win this fight. And you're going to get that plus 175, right? Instead of, I think, plus 120 or whatever it is at now just for her to win the fight. So if you like Caitlin to win the fight, take it plus 175 by decision. That's the only way I think she wins this fight. Me, I'm leaning Andrade here to avoid losing 3 in a row. I think she does win this fight. Close fight, but I think she's smart enough to understand how to beat Caitlin. And it's going to be to get her on the ground. It's going to be to grapple. Okay, and it's going to be, she's going to have to use her smarts in this fight. And that's what some people are worried about. I think she has enough to win this. So I would lean her at minus 145 to win this fight. Next fight here, we got Crew -3. Jimmy back in the ring, -350 versus Bukakis. This is a high price, -350, guys. Should be a good fight. I was on Bukakis a few months back, and we cashed on a first round KO by elbows. We had him by KO, plus money, big plus money hit there. This was his debut last time, and he looked good. A lot of hype around his name, but, you know, his competition, he wasn't fighting anyone great. Jimmy, though, probably has more hype around him, right? His name, big few wins already over Paul Craig, Sam Alvey. Now, Bukakis is known more for his striking, right? Jimmy will look to bring this fight to the ground and most likely dominate him on the ground. He should submit him. I think if you're going to look at this fight, you're going to want to take the finish. You don't want to pay the -350. You're still paying like -170, 175 for Jimmy to finish the fight. So you're not getting no discount there. He does have a lot of submissions on his record, coming off a submission win last time out, and he has 3 subs out of his last 4 fights. I don't know how good Bukakis is on the ground. You don't see a lot of it in his tape. You see how good his striking is, but you don't see a lot of fights getting to the ground. I just think it's a bad matchup for Bukakis and for him against Jimmy. So it's not so. I love to look for dogs and value. I just don't see it happening here unless they just decide to strike the whole time. But I just don't think that's a smart game plan from Jimmy. Now this price sucks. Something I won't be involved in at -350. You may want to look at it in a 2-fight parlay. But I think you look at the finish, -175. Still no value there to bet it straight up, in my opinion, especially on an outcome. You don't want to outcome something that high. So maybe look to parlay it, put it in a 2-fight parlay, eat that juice. But I wouldn't suggest to put it to bet that straight up. But I do think Jimmy gets the win here. Next fight, look who's back. Almeida -125 versus Martinez. Almeida's back after a few years off, and you know, if you know me, guys, have been following my videos, I don't love to go all in on guys that's been off for quite some time. You don't know how they're going to come back. Are they going to come out 2.0 version, or are they going to come out, you know, not looking as good? Last fight was a loss to Font, Rob Font, good fighter. At one time he was a big prospect. However, he never played out for the UFC and how people thought. He has fought top competition in the UFC, guys. Cody Garbrandt lost. He beat Albert Morales, but then had back-to-back losses versus good fighters, right? Jimmy Rivera and Rob Font, top 10 guys in the division. So you got to look at that as well. Martinez hasn't fought anyone close to that level. He is coming off a win versus a 13-7 Franny size. So it's you got to look at that when you're seeing who these guys are beating. Previous to that, he lost to the lengthy Andre Ewell. I like Andre Ewell. We were on him a couple weeks ago to buy decision. We cashed that. I like him. So it's probably maybe the better guy he's fought so far, and he lost. I would look at Almeida here. Like I said, I can't go all in just because of that layoff. But it should be a close fight. And, you know, it could go all 3. I don't see anyone maybe getting knocked out here. So I can see this fight going to a decision here. Last fight on this card, guys. Last fight on this main card. James Krause, -175 versus Claudio Silva. If you look at Silva's resume, there's a couple wins on there you may notice. Yes, he has a win over Leon Edwards, but in 2018. So that's when Leon was just coming up. And also Danny Roberts. Now, what are those guys known for? Striking, right? Silva hasn't lost since 2007. He's 14-1, and it was a DQ loss. But a lot of those guys were strikers, right? Krause will be a better striker here, of course. A lot more fights. Looks solid going up a division and 24-hour notice versus Giles. But it was that 24-hour notice that, you know, made him lose that fight. Moved up a division, 24-hour notice, and it was close. But, you know, Trevin Giles, how good is he? Not that great. The reason why I can't go all in on Silva here, I like the value on Silva. However, Kraus is really good on the ground as well, black belt as well, guys. So I know Silva's like second or third degree, but Silva is known for that black belt, how good he is on the ground. So I love to see this battle on the ground, see who's better on the ground. I would love to see that, guys. You know, Silva does have 9 submission wins of his 14 fights, and he'll be looking for it here again, in my opinion. His last 3 fights were all wins by sub. Now, Kraus has 14 sub victories out of his 27 wins. So both guys are solid on the ground here. And Silva usually does have an advantage on the ground in his other fights. However, I don't think he does here. So this is why I can't jump on Silva, right? We know Kraus is a better striker. So if Silva decides to strike with him, Kraus has the advantage there. And I don't think the ground game is too much of a difference. Lean Silva on the ground, but Kraus is maybe just as good or very close. So that's why I won't be betting on Silva here. I would probably lean closer to Kraus, but it's not a fight I haven't been involved in as of yet. I may look at for it to go in round betting, maybe over 1.5. I got to check the numbers on that. But my official play on this has not been decided on as of yet. Official plays will be sent out to subscribers after weigh-ins on Friday. You know, I like to watch the weigh-ins, guys, but I want to get the video out on Thursday just to run down some fights and get an idea on what you guys, give out some plays that I like. But, you know, final is after the weigh-ins, right? When I see the weigh-ins, check out some more videos on interviews and face-offs. Sometimes it determines the factor. So if you want my official plays after, there is a subscription service. Check out the website that I mentioned earlier. And I do email the plays with why I like it, all in a detailed email. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me and for UFC Fight Island 6. It should be a good one, especially the main event. Main event, really excited for. We do have a good co-main event with Chukagian and Andrade, so it should be a good one here, guys. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy Fight Island. We got the big UFC 254 coming up soon. Excited for that with Khabib and Gaethje. So look out for my breakdown video on that and some plays as well. All right, guys, like I always say, bet smart and know your limits. Take care. Bye.